Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're starting today with some really significant news that came out on August 4th, 2025, the passing of Shibu Soren. Many people knew him affectionately as Guruji, or Dishom Guruji. He was 81 years old and passed away in Delhi's Free Gangaram Hospital after, well, a long fight with kidney-related illness. It's more than just news, isn't it? It really feels like the end of a major chapter in Indian politics.
Yeah.
Especially for Jharkhand and its tribal communities.
It really does. A huge figure. Shibu Soren wasn't, just a politician. In so many ways, he was the architect, the driving force behind Jharkhand's very existence. So our mission today really is to unpack the life of this pivotal figure. It's a remarkable story, often controversial, definitely complex. We want to explore how he managed to, quite literally, reshape the map of India and why his legacy is still so powerful today.
Absolutely. And think of this deep dive as your shortcut, your essential guide to understanding this incredibly intricate political journey. It's a journey that, impacted millions. We're talking about perseverance, a massive struggle, and ultimately the creation of a whole new state. And like so many big stories, it seems to kick off with a really personal tragedy, something that shaped everything that came after.
It absolutely does. You trace it back. He was born January 11, 1944, in Nemra Village. Back then, that was Hazaribagh, part of Bihar. Now, of course, it's in Jharkhand. But his early life took this incredibly sharp, tragic turn. His father, a school headmaster, someone respected, he was murdered. And this just devastated the family. It forced young Soren, barely out of childhood, to leave school after 10th grade. Gola High School. Can you just imagine the weight of that falling on such young shoulders?
It's hard to fathom. A teenager, father murdered, forced out of school. You'd think. Well, you might expect someone to retreat, maybe. But no. Instead, it seems like this trauma ignited something fierce inside him. He did try the wood business initially, to make ends meet. But clearly, his real path wasn't commerce. It was about fighting back, fighting for his community, for what he saw as justice.
Right, and that sense of injustice, that drive, it led him directly, just a few years later, to co-found the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, the JMM, that was 1972. And he wasn't alone. He had crucial allies, A.K. Roy, Binod Bihari Mahato. Their goal was, it was revolutionary for the time, advocate fiercely for tribal rights that had been ignored for so long. And the big one, carve out a separate state, Jharkhand, from Bihar. This wasn't just like a political talking point. It was about identity, survival. They felt completely marginalized within Bihar.
And what's really striking, almost audacious, about his early approach, it wasn't standard politics at all. We're not just talking peaceful protests, so there were those too. He was reportedly delivering summary justice, holding his own courts, dealing with disputes directly. Can you picture that? It's controversial, definitely. But it suggests a complete rejection of the official legal system, which tribal communities felt had utterly failed them. It was like building a parallel authority right there on the ground.
Exactly. And it wasn't about anarchy. It stemmed from desperation. The core reason for demanding Jharkhand was this fundamental fight for identity, for survival. Tribal communities felt they were being exploited, losing land, their culture under threat, completely voiceless in the state government. So Soren's activism, it wasn't just, intense. It was fueled by this deep collective grievance. He led countless protests, sit-ins, navigated these really tough, often hostile negotiations. He embodied the movement spirit.
And that spirit, that struggle, it came at a terrible cost. There was real violence. We have to talk about the Chirudih massacre, January 23, 1975. It's a horrifying event.
Yeah.
Police firing on JMM activists, 11 people killed, just tragic. And Soren himself was implicated, accused of inciting the violence. This led to an arrest warrant, forced him underground for a while. It was a shadow that hung over him for decades. It even led to his resignation as Union Coal Minister, much later, July 2004, because the case resurfaced. It's hard to grasp the intensity of that time.
It really is. But what's equally striking is his sheer resilience through all of this. Despite these huge setbacks going underground, facing serious charges, he just kept pushing. And that relentless effort, against all odds, it finally culminated in the creation of Jharkhand State, November 15, 2000. That wasn't just politics as usual. It was a massive victory for tribal rights. It was, without doubt, his life's mission realized. It really shows how these long, messy, difficult struggles can fundamentally change things. Perseverance really can create a state.
So after achieving statehood, this monumental goal, his career shifts again, doesn't it, into this real roller coaster of power, both state and national. Look at his electoral record. Look, Saab MP from Dumka, that's India's lower house of parliament. 8 terms, that's huge. 1980 to 84, then 89 to 98, and again 2002 right up to 2019. That's not just winning elections. connections. It's establishing a direct line from Sarkhan's aspirations straight to Delhi. Plus his time in the Rajya Sabha, the upper house.
Yeah.
He was constantly present on the national stage, a major player.
Absolutely. And then there's his time as Chief Minister of Jharkhand itself, multiple times, but famously incredibly brief stints. First one, March 2nd to March 12th, 2005. 10 days.
10 days, wow.
Yeah. Then again, August 2008 to January 2009. And a third time, December 2009 to May 2010. And these short terms, they weren't really about him being ineffective. They just vividly show how unstable early Jharkhand politics were. You had these fragile multi-party coalitions, constant maneuvering, power struggles, made it almost impossible for anyone, even Soren, to hold on for long.
It really paints a picture of a chaotic political environment. And he was juggling this with national roles, too. Union Minister for Coal 2004, then again 2004, 2005, and 2006. Pulled between state and center.
Yeah.
And you know that story you sometimes hear about him being arrested for wearing a dhoti and the looks of a, it sounds minor maybe, but it speaks volumes, doesn't it? About his connection to his roots, refusing to fit the expected urban mold in Delhi. It was a statement. And it really resonated with his supporters back home.
Oh, completely. That dhoti incident wasn't just about clothes. It was about identity, authenticity. For his base, it was a proud assertion of their culture right in the halls of power. But speaking of challenges, his career wasn't just political ups and downs. It was also deeply marked by these serious legal battles, which adds another complex layer, doesn't it? The biggest one, probably, was the 1994 murder case involving his private secretary, Shashi Natha. This wasn't trivial. He was convicted. November 28, 2006, sentenced to life imprisonment. Imagine that. A sitting union minister convicted of murder. It forced him to resign immediately from the coal ministry.
That's just career ending, you'd think, for anyone. And it also raises questions about the legal system, perhaps, because he was later acquitted. Delhi High Court, August 23, 2007. They cited, what was it, lapses by the CBI, the investigating agency.
Exactly, CBI lapses. So the conviction was overturned.
Which is a huge turnaround.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was that Chirudih massacre case we mentioned earlier hanging over him, arrest warrant going underground. But eventually he was acquitted in that case, too, March 6, 2008.
Right. But these weren't just footnotes in his biography. They were massive threats. Think about the political pressure, the cloud of suspicion, the resources drained fighting these cases. And beyond those two big ones, there were apparently other charges pending, too, related to deaths back in 1974, even a convoy bomb attack in 2007. It really does feel like his career was this constant tightrope walk, this high-stakes political drama.
And yet, through it all, he had this incredible knack for bouncing back, almost uncanny resilience, like a phoenix, wasn't he? Always seemed to rise from the ashes, turn adversity around somehow. His ability to just navigate and survive these intense storms, legal and political, often coming out stronger. It's quite something.
It definitely cemented that image for his supporters, the unbreakable leader who could stand up to anything.
So after all that turbulence, the political fights, the legal battles, what's the ultimate takeaway? What's his defining legacy?
Well, I think it has to be Jharkhand itself, the state's very existence. It's genuinely hard to imagine Jharkhand becoming a reality without Shibu Soren's relentless push. His advocacy for tribal communities, achieving statehood, fighting for land reforms that fundamentally empowered millions. He didn't just change politics, he changed the map, and he changed lives for indigenous people in India.
And that influence, it's not just history, is it? It's still very much alive today through his family. His son, Hemant Soren, is the current chief minister. He'd served before, too, 2013, 2014. Another son, Dishom Soren, is an MLA. So the JMM, his party, remains dominant.
Right. His legacy isn't just an idea. It's a living political reality shaping Jharkhand's present and future.
And the reaction to his passing really showed the scale of his impact. Tributes poured in from everywhere.
They really did. Across party lines, too. Prime Minister Modi called him a towering figure, Rahul Gandhi, a fearless leader. It wasn't just, standard political condolences. It felt like genuine recognition of his stature.
And for his own community, the tribal communities, the mourning was deep, personal. They lost their Dishom Guruji, their great teacher of the land.
Shops closed, flags at half-mast, prayers in villages. You could feel the grief.
And Hemant Soren's words, they were so raw. Respected Guru Dishom has left us all. Today I have become empty.
It really captures that sense of profound loss, personal and communal.
It does. So Shibu Soren's life, it was undeniably this rich, complex mix. Huge triumphs, yes, but also major tribulations.
A real testament to perseverance, absolutely. And it highlights the messy, difficult realities of political leadership, especially when fighting for a marginalized cause.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe the thought to leave you, the listener, with this. Think about the impact one person driven by a powerful cause can have on a whole state, on its people, even when the path is full of controversy like Soren's was. What does his story tell us about the sacrifices, the complexities of trying to shape a nation's destiny?
Yeah, reflect on that. How figures like him, imperfections and all, facing immense challenges, can still fundamentally change history for millions. His life undeniably changed the game for Jharkhand, gave a voice, an identity to people who fought so long just to be heard.
That's all the time we have for this deep dive into the incredible life and legacy of Shibu Soren. Thanks for joining us.